Okay, so I sidetracked myself onto water when I was starting a new series on wellness, and I was going to tell you about my power plate. Now, a power plate, I think I can turn the camera. I'm sorry, this is going to look a bit messy, but anyway, you'll know it's authentic, won't you? That's my cupboard that's open. Oh, that's my inverter. There's my power plate. Now, I got a big one, but I got it second hand. Oh, sorry. You know this is real, don't you? That's my power plate. It's kind of a big machine and it's very heavy, but it is the most phenomenal machine. And they have different ones that are smaller and you can put into an apartment or you can put into your garage and that sort of thing, and they're much lighter. And the smaller one is called the Move, M-O-V-E. So if you look up powerplate.com, the reason I believe my body is in such good shape is largely because of the power plate. So I've had one for about 13 or 14 years now, because I read about them in one of the journals that I read, because I've been in wellness forever, I mentioned on the other video, and I've always taken pretty good care of my body. Plus, I was a physiotherapist, and so I would see how people's bodies end up when they didn't take care of them. And I never wanted to be like that. So it has been years of me being conscious of my body and using my body well and not abusing it, and making sure that I stood up and walked around. Because, you know, when you sit, part of the problem is, you've heard before, sitting is the new smoking. When we sit for more than about 50% of our day, we've got a 60% higher chance of getting bowel cancer because we're not moving. So the first thing I would say to you, whether you have a power plate or not, is make sure you move. I'd show it to you, but you've probably got, you know, dizziness from me showing you before. I bought a stand-sit desk. And so sometimes I stand, sometimes I sit. But there's the odd day where I sit down in front of the computer and I realize, because I've been so busy, 4 hours later, I've hardly moved. I'm like, ah! So I get onto my power plate or I go for a walk around the block. I do something to move my body, because the old adage, use it or lose it, really, really applies. When you stop using muscles, when you stop moving the joints, they lose their flexibility, they lose their strength. And you know, you've seen it if you've injured your knee or ankle or you've broken something and you don't use that limb for a while, when they take the cast off or you take the splint off, everything's kind of shriveled up and you've got this little stick that used to be a leg. Muscles waste very quickly, meaning they lose their strength very, very quickly. So moving and going for walks and being outside really helps. Well, you don't have to be outside, but it helps to be, I think it helps to be outside as well, because you're in nature as well as moving. And so back to the power plate. So I've used all sorts of different exercises. I don't really like going to the gym. Some of you love going to the gym, and that's fabulous, as long as you're doing, you know, what we used to call in physio functional movements. So instead of just doing unidirectional movements, if you're incorporating them with rotation and other kind of movements that you would do on a normal day at work, then that makes the gym much more effective. But I never really liked the gym, so I found other ways to exercise. And there is a gazillion ways that you can do it, and you don't need a machine. A friend of mine introduced me to Tracy Anderson, and you can find Tracy Anderson on the web, and she has these workouts that you just do on the floor, and oh, they are fantastic. And she used to be a ballet dancer, I think, or a dancer, and she specialized in exercises that don't bulk you up. If you want to bulk up, great. But this is more about getting you looking toned and getting you strong. And if you work your way up to her, what do you call it when you do a really hard workout? Boot camp. If you work your way up to the boot camp one, it's so hard, but it's brilliant because it balances strength with length, with balancing as well. So it's improving all of those things. And one of the things that happens as we age is that we stop moving and we get weaker. And the thing that kills tons and tons of older people is their balance. They fall. And you know, you can stand on the power plate or you can just stand on one leg. I'm standing on one leg now, you can't see it, but you can just stand on one leg and balance. And that's a wonderful exercise for you to do while you're standing at your desk or sitting, well, you can't sit, but standing at your desk typing. Or just stand up and take a short break and balance on one leg and then change it to the other leg and see if one's better than the other. Because seriously, balance is so important for you to stay strong and agile and young. And then once you've balanced really well on one leg, here's the tip. Make sure you're standing next to a wall or something you can hang on to. I take no responsibility if you choose not to have something you can hang on to when you do this exercise. So if you close your eyes when you're standing on one leg, so I'm standing on one leg and I'm balancing, but you can see it's really shaky because it's much harder. Now, I got the other leg that I can put straight down, but when you do it, make sure you're standing next to a wall or a desk or something you can hang on to, because as soon as you balance and then close your eyes, it's a whole different experience inside your body. So there are a couple of things that you can do without this astonishing machine called a power plate. So a power plate is whole body vibration, but as I understand it, it's the only one that vibrates in 3 different dimensions: up, down, sideways, and backwards and forwards. And it was designed initially, I believe, for NASA astronauts in space to stop them getting osteoporosis. And so this machine, when you stand on it, vibrates, and it vibrates at different levels. And there's a ton of research being done on power plates and also on whole body vibration and how important it is. And it increases bone density, it increases muscle strength, it increases muscle and ligament strength. Everything in your body is basically a thing called fascia. So all the connective tissue in your body is fascia. Well, the power plate stretches the fascia based on what you do on it. It increases balance, it increases metabolism, it helps with brain function. And it increases growth hormone as well. There's about, 100 things that it does, 50. There's a lot that it does, but it is the most fantastic machine. And be wary of buying another one that isn't a power plate until you do a whole lot of research to see if it goes in the 3 different directions. And I just bought a Move myself, the smaller one, the other day, secondhand, and I got it at a really good price because this one is big and heavy and it has a digital display, and the digital display sometimes plays up a bit, so I wanted to have a smaller one that was a bit more portable, that will be easier for me to move around, but it still does the same thing. So I have a 9-minute routine that I do pretty much every morning. Certainly most mornings I'm at home, and I step off this thing and I feel awesome. And the good news is, if you don't do anything on it, if you just stand on it, you've always got to keep your knees bent, by the way. Always, always, always keep your knees slightly bent, because there's a lot of forces going up through your body. And because it vibrates at such a high speed, it's triggering the muscles to respond, to react. It reduces swelling. In fact, a woman came over the other day and she had varicose veins, and she had those spider veins, and I'd never seen this before. She stood on the power plate for 3 lots of 30 seconds and her spider veins reduced about, I reckon, at least 30 to 50%. We were all astonished. There were 3 of us here and we were, wow. And because, I don't think I told you, oops, one of the most amazing things it does is it increases the blood flow, and it increases the flow of the lymphatics in the body. And so the lymphatics are parallel with the blood flow, and they remove all the toxins in your body. So when you have swelling, if you've got swollen ankles, that's because the lymph is pooling. You know, there's 100 reasons you have swelling, but it's because the lymph is pooling. And if you can do something that gets the lymph moving, like the power plate, it takes that swelling down. And even though the video is getting a bit long, I'm thinking maybe I'll turn my power plate on. I'll turn this around so you can see the power plate, and you can listen to me because my voice will go all funny, and you can just see what happens when I stand on it. And I'm sorry if it looks a bit blurry, but I'll just end up with this. So it's going to take a minute to load up, but I just love this machine. So I stand on it. I won't give you the exercises I do on it today, but I also lie on my back on it. and I have something to support my head. But I find I do that first thing in the morning. I love it. It wakes me up. Clears my sinuses too. Here we go. And I'm going to put it up to 6 because that's the thing that gets your lymphatics moving. So I'm bending my knees, which you can't see, and now it's on. And I sound a bit like Donald Duck while I'm doing it, but it's even worse if I'm lying down on it. But that's all I do. I just stand on it for 30 seconds and that's whoomph, increasing my lymphatics. It's increasing the blood supply, increasing the bone density. It's strengthening my muscles. It's improving my balance. And I sometimes just stand on it and balance, and I've got the handle. So, you know, like I'm balancing on one leg now, see? And so it's finished. And it does it in 30-second increments. So there you have it. A little other tip on wellness, the power plate, and I forget now what I was talking about to start with, but exercises without a power plate and how easily you can do them and how incredibly important it is. Ta-da! See ya. Bye.
Always look on the bright side.